So you've just launched your brand new B2B website and it's not getting the results that you thought it would. I'm going to go over a few different reasons of why that's the case, and so many companies fall into this trap. Look, I'm going to go over a lot of different reasons here why this is the case. We'll start with the first one, obviously, straight away, and that's going to be a Google drop, okay? Now, what I mean by a Google drop, well, most people assume that when they have a brand new website, when they launch a brand new website, that Google will like that. Google will like a fresh coat of paint on the website, okay? That's actually not the truth. Google themselves have actually said so many times, it doesn't matter how good your new website is, even if it's SEO optimized, you're going to drop in traffic, you're going to lose rankings, okay? Because essentially what's happening is you used to tell Google, hey Google, here's everything about our website, here's everything you used to know. Google had a familiarity with that and went, oh, that's what's happening here. You've completely flipped the script. Even if your website, pretty much all the messaging on it stays the same, all the text stays the same, but the new website uses a different CMS. So you went from WordPress to HubSpot or vice versa, or whatever it might be, okay? All the code behind the scenes, which is how Google reads your website and understands it, is all different. So everything that Google thought they knew is now over here. So they're getting confused, okay? So it doesn't matter what you've done to launch your new website, no matter how safe you've been in regards to SEO and migrations and all that sort of stuff, okay? Google will not understand your website as well as they did the previous one, okay? Now, they will eventually, but it's just going to take a bit of time, okay? So what you need to understand is that no matter who you are, no matter what your new website is, you're always going to see a drop in search traffic and rankings with a new website, okay? So the reason I said it up front is because this is not your fault, okay? So you just have to understand no matter how, and by the way, it's not the fault of whoever made the website for you and whatever it might be. They could have even said to you, oh yeah, look, we're gonna make sure that this website is SEO optimized and blah, 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 which by the way, most times when a website company says that, it's absolutely not. But that's not the point of this video. But even if they do say that, and even if they were truthful in saying that, it's gonna drop regardless. Google have said this themselves publicly so many times in the past that if you have a new website, things aren't going to go the way that you want, especially not for the first while, okay? So you have to understand that and take that into consideration as well, okay? So then the next thing that doesn't really go well for a lot of people in a new website, and again, this is one of the reasons why Google doesn't have the, what's the best way to put this? Google doesn't particularly like new websites because they're usually riddled with technical issues, okay? So the biggest issues that I see, especially on new websites, is a bit of a mixture actually. It is 404s, which I'm sure anyone watching this knows what a 404 is a dead page. And also, what most people don't look out for, but we see it all the time with new websites, is staging. I'm actually going to put links there as well. So, as I said, most of you know what a 404 is. It's a dead link. The reason that 404s or dead links appear is because from your old website to your new website, if all the URLs are not the same, okay, and they've changed in some way, shape or form, then you have to do what's known as a redirect map, okay, from your old website to your new website to tell Google. This is one of the reasons why they drop people all the time for this sort of stuff, is because you initially told Google that your link was /contact, okay? Let's just take a very simple explanation, okay? So your link on your old website was /contact. 3 guesses to what that goes to. Obviously, it's your contact page. And on the new website, it now goes to contact -us, okay? Even if you didn't change any of the pictures, any of the text on here, any of the forms for your contact inquiry form, anything, the URL is different. The way that Google understands websites is they look at the URL. This is completely different. There's absolutely no similarities whatsoever in the eyes of Google for these, okay? So that means that if and let's say you copied your blogs word for word from your old website to your new website, if at the bottom of your blogs, you're saying, if you want to learn more, just visit our contact page, and you have that linked to your contact page here, then all of a sudden on your new website, this goes nowhere. This is actually dead. This is a 404, because what it's supposed to go to on the new website is contact us, okay? This is how 404s pop up way more often than people realize, especially when you're launching a new website, is because a lot of the stuff from the old website doesn't go to the new website correctly. And again, you need to really do a proper website and SEO migration to get this right, okay? That's going to absolutely drop the time that you are essentially penalized by Google, okay? The more you can do, the more of this that you can do properly and have it set up correctly, the more that Google will go, oh, sorry, that's what's happening here. Right, we understand now. So even if you essentially tell Google that this is I'm going to be nerdy and technical here, this is a 301 redirect which goes to this, Google gets that signal instantly and goes, oh, okay, thanks for telling us. That's it, done, okay? That absolutely stops the drastic drop that you have. Yes, you still might get a little bit of a drop, but you'll go back up. Well, you should go back up further than what you were before, okay? So that's an example of where 404s can easily come into place for going from an old website to a new website, okay? That's just one simple example. In regards to a staging link, and for those of you that don't know what a staging link is, a staging link or staging website is typically used by a website design company to show you examples of your website before it goes live, okay? So if that website company was called, let's say, I'm just going to be very generic here, webdesign.com, well, they may actually have given you a link that goes, so you can actually view the samples, I suppose, like you'd say, of your website before it goes live, so you can give them the go-ahead. That could have gone from, it would have been, let's say, your site. So let's just say you're called xyz.webdesign.com, okay? So that's essentially a link that they can give you to show you what your website looks like so that you can give approval before it goes live, okay? Now, here's the issue where that comes into play, because when you say, yes, that's fine, the new website goes live and 90% of the links change from xyz.webdesign.com to xyz.com. Let's assume your company's called xyz.com, okay? But there's going to be some areas, a minority, about 10%, where the staging link actually still exists on your live website, okay? So that means that when people are going, let's say, to a blog, which loads normally, the URL is fine, but then it says it should go to, again, let's just say, contact us in this case. It's going to xyz.webdesign.com/contact us instead of just xyz.com/contact us, okay? Staging websites happen all the time, staging links still appear all the time on new websites, okay? It's actually pretty ridiculous how many of these get passed when a website goes live, okay? Now you can check for 404s, you can check for staging links, all that sort of stuff in the likes of Screaming Frog. That's one of the tools that we use. I think if your website is below 500 URLs, there is a free version as well. And you might think, oh, well, we only have 5 pages on our URL. Trust me, there's URLs for everything. Every image you have on your website is a URL. All the different things that you have for coding on your website, there's all use different URLs. There's hundreds and hundreds of URLs, even on a simple website, okay? So that's how you can go past that 500 mark very soon. But look, download Screaming Frog, the free version, throw your website in, see if it's less than 500 URLs. And again, you can easily check for 404s using the response codes tab. You can check for staging links if you go to, you can actually filter it by anything that has this particular link in it as well, okay? So again, it's very, very easy to find that sort of stuff. And again, when you eliminate all this sort of stuff, it tells Google straight away, this is where everything was, this is where it is now. And they know it like that. That's it, okay? But unless you give Google these signals by fixing all of this before it goes live, your new website will not perform the way that you want it to, okay? Even as much as you've been promised it by the web design company. I've been doing this for 20 years and I have never, ever once seen a new website go live without this nonsense, okay? I have helped so many companies when their new website goes live to fix all of this nonsense, okay? Because web design companies, even SEO companies, do not do this correctly, okay? It actually drives me mad, and this is why people then complain that the new website doesn't perform the way that they want it to, and it's really simple fixes for something like this as well, okay? So the next reason that your website typically doesn't perform the way that you want it to is that you have no SEO, okay? Now, let me be very clear, and I kind of touched on this a moment ago. A lot of web design companies, they can say, oh yeah, of course, we'll put together your website for you, and you can say to them, and will it be okay with SEO? And they go, yes, it will be SEO ready. Now, there's a difference between SEO ready and SEO optimized, okay? SEO optimized is one of those weird terms where, well, I'll come to that in a second, but SEO ready means, of course it's ready, but that just means that they've put a plugin on so you can do the SEO yourself, okay? Which they typically tend not to tell you, okay? SEO optimized, which the reason it's a weird term is because SEO stands for search engine optimization. So it's people say this is search engine optimization optimized, which doesn't make sense. Same as ATM machine is automatic teller machine. You know, it's one of those things. But yeah, even if your website is SEO ready, first of all, there's no SEO. That's basically what that means. Okay, it's just what's the PC way of saying this? It's a term used by web design companies, typically used by web design companies to get more money from you for something that they don't even do, okay? Now look, just to be clear, I'm not saying that's every web design company. I know a lot of web design companies who are very strong at their SEO, they know what they're doing, okay? But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've seen so many people screwed over, so many companies screwed over by getting a new website from people who are experts and promise them the world and that their website will be SEO ready or SEO optimized, and it's just absolutely not, and it's riddled with all these things. I've seen this a lot. That's why I'm making this video, okay? To try and show you the dangers of this sort of stuff. And by the way, even if you launch a new website with someone who's done all this, you can fix it. It's not a problem, okay? So you can absolutely 100% do the SEO yourself, and I would implore you to as well. There's loads of different ways that you can do that. If you want a bit of help with it, you can check out the first link in the description. You can even see the results that we've gotten with SEO for people in the past who are also in B2B. It's really, once you have a particular framework in place, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, okay? As I said, if you want, you can check out the first link in the description for that. So no SEO is then the next one. Now, it's really difficult for companies to determine whether they do have good SEO or they don't, okay? Because again, if a web design company is going to tell you and sell you SEO, then you have no way to check it. And I've seen, this is another thing I've seen time and time again, where people are screwed over by, I'm kind of going into a bit of a different realm here, a bit of a tangent, but look, just to be clear, what I mean by this is I'll write it over here. There's a few different terminologies in SEO. There is black hat, there is grey hat, and there is white hat, okay? Now let me just explain what these mean, okay? So these are different tactics, different methods that will boost your website in the rankings. Don't get me wrong, they will, but Google specifically wants you to do one of these, which is white hat, okay? White hat means the right way Google do it. Google have a 172 page document which outlines all of the white hat tactics that they want you to do and they allow you to do on your website that is within their guidelines, okay? If you're using black hat, that means that it's something that it's specifically put together to trick their system, okay? Now, the reason Google do algorithm updates all the time is because they catch what people are doing with black hat and they don't want it, okay? Because the people who are ranking number one, if you're using black hat tactics, you shouldn't be there, okay? So Google brings out a new update. So therefore, and this is something I've seen a lot and it absolutely disgusts me, because companies think they're getting a major deal with SEO because they hire someone who'll do their SEO for 100 or 200 bucks a month, okay? And then they go, brilliant, that's a bargain. How could this fail for me? Like I would be stupid not to do this. And then that company employs black hat tactics, which of course the owner of that company or even the marketing people have no idea the difference between a black hat and a white hat tactic, and they don't know what's happening. All they see is results, which is our website is ranking higher. That's what I paid for, that's where I got. This is a bargain. However, every single time that a black hat tactic is used, yes, you will get higher rankings, and immediately what's going to happen, maybe not immediately, but after 2 months or so, 2 to 3 months typically, your website goes from getting great rankings to boom, it will be taken away from the Google listings completely, okay? I can guarantee that to you. I have seen this time and time again, okay? So this is one of those cases where if it seems too good to be true, it 100% is, okay? Now, I'm not saying that most web design companies use black hat tactics, but I have seen a lot of web design companies, even in this day and age, use grey hat tactics. Grey hat tactics are kind of like, they're in between black hat and white hat. And look, it's not that Google says you shouldn't do this, and it's also not that Google says you should. It's kind of one of those in between things. So people think they're getting away with it. Grey hat always eventually turns into black hat, okay? So it might not be after 2 months. So after 2 months, you're still getting rankings. Maybe it's after 4 or 5 months. But eventually, grey hat turns to black hat. Boom. Your website will be absolutely destroyed, and it will be very, very difficult to get it back up in the rankings, okay? So if you are employing someone to do SEO, okay, I would highly advise you to ask them what their tactics are for SEO, and if they're using white hat tactics, and do they follow Google's guidelines. I think they're called search rate or search evaluation guidelines, something like that. But yeah, you want to make sure that the people that you're using, that they are doing things by the book, essentially, which is Google's big book, this 172 page document that they have, because this is where you'll get absolutely screwed over. So if you are using some sort of SEO from either an organization or a third party SEO agency or whatever it might be, where you think you're getting a bargain, Yes, it might look like your website is doing well at the start, but it'll just be destroyed, okay? So I'm going to take away black hat, I'm going to take away gray hat, and I'm going to leave white hat there just to kind of give you a reminder that's the only thing that you should be using. Now look, I'm not expecting you to read Google's 172-page document of what is within white hat, but again, as I said earlier, if you want an absolute fast track to that where you don't have to learn it, but you just know immediately what to do to rank all the pages successfully on your website, you can check out the first link in the description below, okay? Now, so that's where the SEO side of things come into play, okay? Typically, you're not going to have great SEO. It needs to be, it's essentially I don't want to say it's a full-time job, but you really need to know what you're doing in regards to that, okay? So that's why, again, your new website may not perform the way you want, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next one then. And I'm kind of running out with different spaces here. I can write it up here, I suppose. And the next thing that people expect, which they don't particularly get with because they don't get the results they want with their website, is because they have the wrong messaging, okay? Now, this is absolutely not to do with the any company in regards to doing SEO. This has absolutely nothing to do with the web design company. That 100% is on you, okay? Because usually what's going to happen is the web design company is going to say to you, and what do you want as the headline on your website when people fall onto it the first time? That specifically is talking about your homepage in this example, which homepage is the last place that people should be on your website, which I know doesn't make sense, but if you saw my previous videos, you'll understand why. But let's say that someone lands on your homepage, okay? And you tell the web design company that, oh, this is what we want on our homepage. And the mistake I see a lot of times is it's something really generic and doesn't speak to anyone about what you do, who you are, how you help them. It's something along the lines of, we are the business of tomorrow. We are using technology for forward moving business, or something stupid along those lines that doesn't say anything to anybody, that doesn't explain who you are, what you do, how you help them. So why would anyone want to proceed with you if that's the case, okay? So you absolutely have the wrong messaging. We've been in situations before where we have helped organizations and they say, look, our website's not performing the way that we want. We can even look at their SEO and go, look, your SEO needs a lot of help. But the biggest issue is your messaging is absolutely wrong. Because again, someone lands on your website and you know what you do internally. And that's where this issue comes into play for a lot of companies, because you know internally really well what you do. And you just assume that everyone that lands on your website, even with a fresh coat of paint, you assume that everyone that lands on your website is going to understand that as well, okay? They have no idea who you are, what you do, how you can help them. You need to essentially write your messaging that if a 5-year-old was reading it, that they would understand who you are, what you do, and how you can help them as well, okay? So this generic messaging, which might look nice on the surface of we are the business of tomorrow, like that means nothing to anybody. Stop using messaging like that. Start using realistic messaging. Like we helped one company with this probably about 12 months ago, I'd say, maybe a little longer. But again, it's because they got a new website. It didn't perform the way they wanted. And all we did was open up the first page of the website, which in this case was the home page, before we even scrolled. So anything that we saw, which was known as above the fold, we just straight away said, well, why am I here? Like if I'm a consumer, why am I here? And they explained to us why, and I said, yeah, but we're currently on a call now. You can explain that to me. What if I wasn't on a call with you? How am I supposed to know what you do? And you could tell when the light bulb moment happened for them as well. They changed that messaging and they emailed us probably like a month or two later to say that's after helping so much, okay? And again, once you use that messaging, you can use it for all the other things that you do. So even if you're at a trade show and you have one of those pull-up banners, instead of it having that generic, we are the business of tomorrow, nobody knows. Why would someone stop at your stand and talk to you? Like, put what you do, how you help somebody, okay? There's so many businesses out there who they want something flashy. They want to look like they're future leading and all that sort of nonsense. No, just tell people what you do and how you help them, okay? Stop being ridiculous about it. So the last thing then, why your new website probably isn't bringing the kind of leads that you want, again, because you thought that a new website, new fresh coat of paint and having sparkly new website would fix everything for you. It's very simple. And again, I know I'm running out of room here, but there's no clear CTA. And for those of you who don't know, by CTA I mean call to action, basically the button that's on your website, okay? Now, this is an issue that I see all of the time, okay? So, first of all, when people have a call to action, which in this case, let's just say it's a button, but you can have a button on your website that says learn more, okay? First of all, the biggest issue with that is the likes of Google, they don't like when you use text like learn more. They call it non-descriptive text, okay? You can actually see this if you, I don't know about other browsers, but if you're on Google Chrome and you right click on your website and go to inspect, you can run different reports in there, and one of those reports will tell you that if you are using learn more as your buttons, Google will say that that is non-descriptive text. They don't like that. What Google wants you to do, which not only makes sense for Google's algorithms, but for a human as well, is they want basically that button to be, someone knows if you click that button where you're going to end up, okay? Now, I understand with the human context, you might have a banner that says, or a heading that says accounting software, and then you have a button that says learn more. You might think, well, that's very obvious, but we have the human context. When you're looking at your website yourself, you have the human context of that, okay? You have to take the assumption that if someone was to click that button, they don't know where they're going, okay? So learn more means nothing, okay? It's like the messaging thing that I mentioned a while ago. Learn more means nothing. So instead of saying something like learn more, your button should be accounting software, okay? Because Google wants to know that if someone clicked that button, the text that's on that button, the page they're going to go to is about accounting software. When Google essentially crawls that link and crawls that button to say, oh, this page, it says accounting software, the button says accounting software, and it goes to a page about accounting software. Oh, that's what this is about. You literally get bumped in Google because of that, okay? And also, from a human psychological perspective, for someone to click learn more or to click accounting software, even though it's the same button, they know what they're clicking, they know what they're getting themselves into. So they it actually helps from a psychological human perspective as well, okay? Now, not only one thing with no clear call to action, the other big mistake that I see all the time is having multiple call to actions, okay? So one thing that I see, and I suppose this is the only place I have left to write, people can have, now this is just on their homepage alone, okay? And it could be on various other sections as well. They could have, and let's say that this is, do you know what? Let me actually rub all this out so I can do a proper example, okay? So this is something that I see all the time on loads of different company websites, okay? Especially when they launch brand new websites, because they're trying to say essentially a million different things to that one person at the one time on their website, okay? Because they're trying to make a choose your own adventure scenario on a website, okay? And I know that that's what most people think a website should be. It should be, well, people have the freedom and the choice to click whatever page that they want to go to next, okay? Realistically, if you want to get the right kind of leads and the right kind of results from your website, you should actually be guiding people through your website. It shouldn't be a case of that they have essentially free will to click on whatever buttons that they want, whatever pages they want. You should be guiding them through your website, okay? So again, let's just say that this is the home page of your website, okay? And up here, you have your menu items with home, about, services, blah, 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 industries, all that, okay? Now, and then you have, let's say you have a hero section here, and you have some text here, and you've got let's say you have a button. Do you know what? Actually, I'll do the buttons in a different color. And then underneath here, you have, we do this, we do this, we do this. Yeah, so let me put other boxes for that as well, okay? Just to really kind of drive the point home. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the buttons, again, these are all the call to actions that people would have, okay? So there's a button up here in your menu. There's a button underneath here, and in most cases, this is something I see a lot of these days. There's two buttons actually underneath. You know what? I'll center those. I see a lot of people with two buttons underneath their hero image as well, okay? So let me just take that away so I can center it, because this is something I see all the time, which is not helping you or anybody. And then I see we do this, and click here to learn more, click here to learn more, and click here to learn more, okay? That's a terrible looking button, but regardless. So, one thing that I do see a lot on different websites is, let's say this could be book a demo, okay? Let's assume this is a software company, okay? Or B2B, whatever you do, okay? So this one could be a demo. This one could be learn more, which we already know Google doesn't like. This one could be, this could also be demo as well, okay? This could be, let's say this is accounting software. This is what we do. We do payroll software, and this is a button about our payroll software. We do, what's the best way to doing this one? Tax deadline and bank reconciliation, okay? Now, when somebody's on here, there's no path for where they should actually go next, okay? So realistically, they're not going to be booking a demo straight away. Okay, if someone lands on your homepage, they're not going to book a demo straight away. That's just how it is. They need to have extra trust signals. Okay, learn more. Again, we know that Google doesn't want this sort of stuff, so this should be something like accounting software or view our accounting software or accounting software features or whatever it might be, and that goes to a page all about everything that you do. Okay, again, that's why these really don't need to be here. And again, demo is there as well, because again, what do we want this person to do? Do we want them to click this or that? They can only click one of them. Okay, so there's no point in having two buttons there straight away. Now, this is where it's kind of a case of I understand the reasoning behind this, because again, you on your homepage want to say, here's everything that we do. We do payroll software, we do tax deadline stuff, we do bank reconciliation, all that sort of stuff. Okay, in here, yes, I have an understanding about why you would want to put those things, but realistically, those things should be up here in a features services drop down. Okay, now that's okay, because that still means that if that's what someone is specifically looking for, yes, they can go here. Yes, I understand the argument that they may not know that it's there, but if someone is going to essentially land on your homepage, we want them to go. And by the way, somebody shouldn't land on your homepage. That's one thing to understand. Someone should not land on your homepage, okay? Because if they're looking for payroll software, they should land on your page about payroll software, which is already in here. Okay, now look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't put the likes of these here. You can obviously if you want. This is more so for your homepage. So let's say that this was a page all about your payroll software. Okay, so again, let's take this all out, and now we're not on the homepage, we're on a page all about our payroll software. Okay, so now in our payroll software we have, again, let's say we have a hero image, we have some text. That never changes because it's global, because that just means that it's the same across every page on the website. So now we have some text along here, and let's say different things that you can do with your payroll. So that is one thing down here, one thing down here, and one thing down here. Okay, so this is, let's say, international payroll. Okay, this is automated payroll. Okay, and this is whatever else you can do with payroll. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, let me try and think of something off the top of my head. Okay, let's say, what do you call the likes of IRS, HMRC, all that sort of stuff? That's basically tax. Okay, that's tax for somebody. That's automatically done on their payroll. Okay, now again, depending on what country you're in, that is or is not going to be the case. Okay, so this is a page now where somebody should have landed in the first place because they wanted payroll software, and you have a page about payroll software. That's where they land. Okay, so now in this case we have demo, and in this case we have learn more, which realistically, and this is a big mistake I see as well, that learn more just loops back to this URL. Okay, which doesn't actually make any sense. So what do we want somebody to do at this particular stage? Well, in this case, now the goal is that they book a demo. Okay, so let's get rid of learn more, let's get rid of the demo, and let's get rid of, this is another mistake that I see a lot of that, as well, that, oh, we also do this and this and this and this and this and this, and here's the link to it, 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 and here's the link to it. Okay, you don't need to do any of that. That's all up here from a website technical perspective. Okay, and again, that's not what that person's looking for. So instead of driving them further down your funnel so that they actually book a demo now, which again should be the only button that's here now, all you're doing is you're sending them to all these other places. Okay, so the actual path that people are following on your website is a very difficult path with a lot of winding in it. Okay, so the website needs to be set up, and this needs to be thought about before any new website design goes together at all. Okay, the structure of the website, it needs to be structured in a way that people are automatically funneled down through the steps that you want them to take. Okay, so again, if someone's looking for payroll software in traditional search, let's say, they should land on this. They should never ever go to your homepage. Okay, that's not what Google wants. That's not what you should be aiming for either. That's what they wanted. This is the page that gives them the information they wanted. Here they are. Okay, so yes, we do this, this, and this, and this. Here's all the benefits. The only thing they can do is book a demo. And instead of saying, oh, and we also do this, this, and this, and this, you're not really stacking any benefits there at that stage, because that person's not looking for those. Again, just finish with your call to action, which in this case is demo. Okay, so there's one clear call to action on that particular page. That's the one place that person can go. We're not sending them back to the home page. Okay, we're not sending them sideways to another services page. We're not saying, oh, and we also do this for this industry, that industry, that industry. So they're not going to this page where all your industries drop down. Clear call to action. Okay, the page should essentially give them the information that they want very clearly. with enough benefits so that you go, we are the people you're looking for. Here's your logical next step, which is to book a demo, okay? So look, I know that there was a lot in that particular video, but there's a lot that I see where people launch new websites or businesses launch new websites and it doesn't perform the way that they want. There's so many things that go into this, and I've been doing this 20 years and I've never seen it go successfully, okay? There's always something that, well, a lot of things that tend to need to be fixed as well, okay? So look, if you've launched a new website recently and you're not getting the results that you want, that is typically the reason why, okay? Now look, if you do want a bit of a hand getting more leads consistently into your B2B pipeline, you can check out the first link in the description. We help companies with that every single day of the week. But other than that, hopefully you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.